if you wasn't invited?
Don't ask. That's what the I'm talking about, agent.
Oh, it's clicking for me now. At first, I thought you were making no sense, but now I understand it. So I shouldn't even apply.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, gang. If you wasn't invited, listen, I ain't gonna lie, gang.
No, dude, like as Professor of the Year.
This was so long ago, but like, the reason why I was just like, upset was like, again, this is like 2 years, like almost 2 years ago, but it's like, if like, let's say like somebody came to my house, like a guest, for example, like Queso or like Sketch came to my house, I would like, if I had like a sponsored thing I was doing at a certain time, like I would make sure like that's not the date that they're coming.
Make it mud. But Jimmy cool. That was pulled last month was a little fishy. Hey, listen, no hard feelings though. No hard feelings though. That was a little. I'm just being real. But shout out to Jimmy, man.
Welcome back. At this point, Cenat looks like the undisputed king of clout and the face of the whole internet hype game. I have to be real, I haven't watched a single Marvel movie, so I'm just hoping that comparison hits the way I think it does. But now even MrBeast seems to be trying to grab a little bit of that Cenat spotlight, and that's saying something because this is already the second version of Streamer University. And from everything we've seen, these tryouts have been absolutely wild, but in a good way. People were doing a bit too much when they started posting clips from the aftermath of Max's in-person Streamer University tryouts, especially with all the chatter about people camping outside and waiting around. But honestly, this whole situation looked pretty calm compared to what some people were making it out to be. If anyone wants to criticize Cenat, the reality is it seems like he learned from that earlier situation, made some changes, and the results are looking pretty solid. Sure, people are probably going to leave trash behind and make a mess, but that's on the people doing it. Compared to what some were predicting, this was nowhere close to the level of chaos people kept trying to compare it to, including that Supreme and PhoneP Dragon collaboration event everyone was talking about. Those Supreme lines looked way crazier than anything happening around Cenat's event. And then there was that whole, yo, I'm a ape chest thumping moment that basically became one of the most talked about images from that era. When you stack it up side by side, what Cenat did doesn't even feel like it's in the same category of intensity. Even with that, MrBeast still had the nerve to ask about it publicly. At this point, the smartest move is probably to roll a clip from Duke Dennis and Agent, because these are two people who have been close with Cenat for a long time. They're both part of AMP, one of the biggest creator groups online. Agent didn't directly bring Cenat into AMP, but he co-founded the group with Phantom, and Phantom was the one who introduced Kai to the team. Duke was already in AMP too, so these guys have been around each other for years, and their friendship and history together are pretty well known across the internet. So if Duke and Agent are basically saying, man, we did not get the invite, should we still come? The answer is actually pretty simple. If you were not invited, don't just pull up anyway. And if you're asking, should we apply? What is really going on here? Then you're probably already in the wrong lane. When MrBeast starts sliding into the conversation like that, it comes across as a little slick to some viewers. That's just how part of the audience sees it. To be fair though, I respect the game. MrBeast is a very smart operator, and a lot of people online talk about him like he's just another YouTuber when his moves often feel much bigger than that. There's also an argument that he still gives off a bit of regular person energy, but the way he handles things can sometimes seem more like a billionaire mindset, similar to the way people describe Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. It gives off that business-first, no-nonsense vibe where every move feels calculated. Sure, some people would point out that MrBeast's net worth is not quite in the same league as names like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, but people online keep making that comparison anyway. That's why the reaction to this whole situation matters so much, because it was never really just about one invite or one public question. Online, people started treating it like a much bigger signal about status, access, and who can step into someone else's space without making things feel awkward. Once that kind of conversation starts, every little detail gets put under a microscope. Some viewers were locked in on the optics and how everything looked from the outside, while others shrugged it off and said it was just business, plain and simple. But the way people framed the situation says a lot about how creator circles work today.
Run it back.
Well, first I gotta ask, can I go?
Well, you gotta apply. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like, why he can't apply to me?
What?
Like, why he can't? Why do we gotta apply? Why he can't go out and ask us?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying, Agent?
Oh, if you wasn't invited.
Don't ask. That's what the I'm talking about, Agent.
Oh, it's clicking for me now. At first, I thought you were making no sense, but now I understand it. So I shouldn't even apply.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, gang. If you wasn't invited, listen, I ain't gonna lie, gang. I usually
No, dude, like as professor of the year.
no, hit me out though. Hit me out though. Hit me out though. Like, who would I be to not follow my own advice though?
That's true. That is actually true.
A single public question can suddenly turn into a massive debate when the people involved have this much influence and attention around them. So the tension isn't only about whether someone should have shown up or stayed back. It's also about how fast the internet can take one simple moment and turn it into a full-blown test of influence, timing, respect, and who really has the juice in these online spaces. And when that happens, even the smallest interaction can suddenly feel way bigger than it first looked. MrBeast has the kind of personality where people would not be shocked if he just showed up anyway, and honestly, for all we know, he could already be there. What makes this whole thing feel so crazy is how it connects back to the Team Water situation. If you remember that period, MrBeast had reached out and more or less was saying, yo, let's get Cenat for a donation. Adin Ross also pushed the Cenat angle pretty hard during that time. Based on how people online talked about it, the situation supposedly caused a small strain in their relationship, even though things seem to have cooled off since then. Right now, they appear to be on cordial terms. That said, it does not really seem like they are heading toward becoming close friends anytime soon. During that entire push, Adin Ross pretty much went along with what MrBeast was asking. They helped raise a huge amount of money. MrBeast ended up walking away with a Guinness World Record. And then, according to how some viewers described it, Adin Ross was left hanging after everything was over. Because of that, a lot of online discussion started painting a certain picture. The popular read from some viewers is that MrBeast is not really rocking with Adin Ross anymore after that situation, especially among those who believe Adin got caught in the middle of the supposed tension surrounding Cenat. And then there was Jinxie, another creator who donated to Team Water. He gave MrBeast $100,000, and Jinxie, who many people online consider one of the biggest streamers this year, also talked about the whole Team Water situation. From Jinxie's point of view, he seemed to feel that parts of the experience came across as a little pushy and somewhat grimy, at least based on how his reaction was discussed and interpreted online. That perspective only added more chatter and made people keep revisiting the entire situation.
This was so long ago, but like, the reason why I was just like, upset was like, again, this is like 2 years, like almost 2 years ago, but it's like, if like, let's say like somebody came to my house, like a guest, for example, like Queso or like Sketch came to my house, I would like, if I had like a sponsored thing I was doing at a certain time, like I would make sure like that's not the date that they're coming. So like when I found out about that, I was like, wait, what? Because I like the plan was just to do 24 hours of IRL, because I never do IRL, but that was the plan. And then like 5 hours in, I just heard about that, and it's like, well, I mean, you just kind of feel like, no one.
So when MrBeast was reaching out to billionaires and asking for support, a lot of people seemed completely fine with that side of it. But when he started contacting creators who, by comparison, had less money than him, some viewers felt the approach looked different. You keep hearing that same reaction pop up in online discussions around Jinxie, Adin Ross, and even XQC, who was there during that live stream. Their reactions were basically being summed up as, yo, we could see how pushy this guy was with it. Then things took another turn during Cenat's Mafia-thon. After reaching 1 million subscribers, Kai finally spoke about the Team Water situation and publicly called out MrBeast. That moment instantly got people talking again and brought the whole debate right back into the spotlight. And all of this is happening after Cenat, at least at one point, seemed to really look up to MrBeast. Years ago, I even said Cenat was basically the MrBeast of streaming, and I still stand by that comparison. I meant it as a compliment too, and nobody is taking that opinion away from me. Back then, what I meant was that Kai had that same larger-than-life presence and knew how to turn big ideas into huge moments. The difference, at least from my perspective, was that Kai seemed to carry that energy without some of the criticisms people sometimes bring up in online discussions about MrBeast. Honestly, I do not really have anything negative to say about Kai Cenat. That's why it feels different now that Kai is the one publicly calling MrBeast out, especially because these two had already worked together before. They had teamed up for a YouTube video or live stream with a company involved, and around $100,000 was being handed out. So yes, there was already a history of collaboration between them. That is probably why Kai may have felt like, yo, I got done dirty by this, and then MrBeast called him right after everything happened. Once that became public, people started breaking down every single detail and reading into every interaction. Because once a creator relationship gets pulled into the spotlight, it stops being just about one moment. Suddenly, it becomes a symbol for much bigger conversations about loyalty, expectations, influence, and how relationships between major creators can change right in front of the internet. Some viewers saw it as proof that these massive creator collaborations are always a lot more complicated. Behind the scenes, while others thought the internet was blowing a simple interaction way out of proportion.
But Jimmy cool. That month that was pulled last month was a little fishy. Hey, listen, no hard feelings though. No hard feelings though. That was a little. I'm just being real, but shout out to Jimmy, man.
Either way, the conversation just kept getting bigger and bigger. What really makes this story stick is that both sides already had huge public attention around them, so even the smallest shift in tone gets noticed almost instantly. Online, people were not only talking about who called who, they were talking about respect, timing, and whether anyone felt overlooked after helping with a major project. That is exactly the kind of situation the internet grabs onto and refuses to let go of. And once questions about trust and intentions enter the conversation, every move that happens afterward starts getting viewed through that same lens. That is why this whole situation keeps circling back into the same debate. People are not just reacting to what happened, they are also trying to figure out what it all says about how creator alliances really work and what goes on behind the scenes when some of the biggest names on the internet team up. So right here, you can see MrBeast basically saying, yeah, congrats on the million, because this happened near the end of Mafiathon 3, right when Kai Cenat crossed that incredible 1 million subscriber milestone. Kai had been pushing hard to reach 1 million subscribers in just 30 days, and for a Twitch sub count, that number is absolutely massive. People online kept talking about how that could potentially translate into huge revenue figures, with estimates floating around the $6 million range. Of course, it's important to remember that Twitch subscriptions are split, and streamers only receive a portion of that money. You know what I mean? I have to lay it out because not everyone follows the details that closely, and I definitely am not pretending to be some financial expert here. Anyway, once that moment happened, if you were in MrBeast's position, you could probably read the room and think, okay, this guy really is not messing with me like that. At that stage, it would make sense to either take a step back or realize you might need to approach things a little differently.
What's up? I wanted to just say congrats on cracking 1 million.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, and yeah, keep talking about what you were saying on stream. I could tell that there was, yeah, the whole Team Water thing.
Nah, yeah,
people were running with that, and I actually, so I'm not even joking. I don't know if you got I don't know why I have 2 Kai Cenat saved, but I called you and texted you quite a bit, but I didn't realize until a week ago that it was your old number.
Yeah.
And I reached out to your manager. I was like, dang, does Kai hate me? And he's like, no. And then I asked for your number. I've been texting the wrong number this whole time.
Yeah,
so.
Jimmy, you know, I love you, and we've been cool for a long time. I think, but if I'm being real, like, from me to you, what happened last month, I don't think you see it from my perspective, but from what happened last month, if you looked at everything that was going on, it was a little too much. I kind of I had to it was my old number, correct, but I also had to lock in for this month, but also I felt away from that, if I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, I could tell it wasn't the people were running with you not donating and stuff. That's why I tried calling again.
Yeah.
I replied to a tweet telling people to chill the out.
Yeah, I seen that, and I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah,
When relationships between big creators become this public, even a quick congratulatory message can end up carrying way more meaning than anyone expected. There was also another layer to all of this when you connect it back to Streamer University too. From what it looked like, Cenat had tried to get MrBeast involved in the first Streamer University, but MrBeast never showed up. Then later, MrBeast ended up sending Kai $10,000, which led to people online jokingly calling it a sort of hood MrBeast moment. That little detail only gave the internet even more to talk about. Wait a second, that part actually surprised a lot of people during the event. MrBeast did not show up, and when Kai was putting together Streamer University, he had even joked about having creators like Mark Robber and MrBeast come in as professors. When MrBeast replied, he said, "Can I teach them how to do YouTube?" That response got people talking because it sounded like he was interested. But despite that, he still never appeared at the event. So now some viewers are asking why the interest seems much stronger now that Streamer University has grown into such a huge online moment. That became a major point of discussion across social media. There was also that MrBeast video where streamers competed for what was described as $1 million for their communities, and Rick Kai was one of the creators involved. According to viewers, he stood out in a big way during that video, although opinions were split on whether it was for positive or negative reasons. At the same time, one big name who was not in that project was Cenat. That led people online to start connecting the dots and bringing up the fact that Kai did not appear in MrBeast's large streamer-focused project, even though it was widely claimed online that he had received an invitation. All of those details together kept adding more layers to the conversation and gave viewers even more reasons to keep debating the relationship between the two creators. From what people were saying online, Kai did not show up, and there was even chatter that he later changed his phone number on MrBeast. To be clear, that remains unverified speculation and internet talk. The story being passed around was basically that MrBeast got the new number, reached out with a "yo," and then got hit with, "Yo, that was grimy what you did." Then, according to the way some viewers framed it, Streamer University rolls around again, and this time there is no invite. That's when some people started looking at the situation and jokingly imagining MrBeast coming back around like, "Yo, can I get in? I want to see what is going on in there. Can I get a little bit of that clout, Mr. Cenat?"
$10,000 for that, what people online call a kind of hood MrBeast moment.
University, I got 10 bands here. Kai, I want you to put this under someone's seat and give it to him.
Say less. Look under your seat.
Say less.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah.
The reason that angle caught so much attention is because right now, Cenat is the one driving the conversation. MrBeast is still pulling massive views, no question about that, but he is not the main character that everyone seems locked in on at this specific moment. Kai is the creator, people keep watching to see what happens next, and that is simply the reality of where the spotlight seems to be right now. You could make a similar argument for someone like Speed on an individual level, sure, but Kai has the broader streamer and creator world paying attention, along with millions of viewers following every move. He has become one of those creators who can create opportunities, start conversations, and bring huge attention to other people just by being involved. And in a lot of ways, that is the same kind of influence and momentum that helped MrBeast build his own name in the first place. MrBeast built a huge part of his brand by creating big events and opportunities for everyday people and other content creators. Because of that, some viewers feel this is simply another example of him trying to tap back into the spotlight surrounding Cenat. Others see it as a calculated move that could subtly push public pressure toward getting him involved with Streamer University again, although that remains online speculation and personal interpretation. That is exactly why the reaction has stuck around for so long. People are not really debating just one invite or one event anymore. They are debating status and influence. Online, every small move gets turned into a much bigger message about who is leading the conversation and who is trying to move back toward the center of it all. That is what keeps this story alive and keeps people talking. A lot of viewers are reading the entire situation as another sign that public momentum matters more than ever in the creator space. Once someone is viewed as the person everyone is watching, even a simple mention can suddenly feel strategic and spark a whole new wave of speculation. Some people think that is just the nature of internet culture and how creator circles operate today. Others believe it is exactly why these interactions end up getting examined so closely. At the same time, this entire discussion is showing just how quickly the internet can take the idea of collaboration and flip it into a conversation about competition, influence, and who really has the attention of the audience. What might look like a normal exchange on the surface can get turned into something much bigger, almost instantly. Suddenly, people start framing it as a test of influence, access, and respect. And because both of these names already carry so much attention online, viewers are treating the situation like it says something bigger about who really holds the momentum around major internet events. At this point, the conversation is not really about the surface-level moment anymore. It is about what people think the moment represents. That is the part everyone keeps coming back to. Once a creator relationship becomes public discussion, every new detail gets watched a lot more closely. People are definitely going to ask, "Yo, Kai, why is MrBeast not involved?" And if someone puts Kai on the spot, he may eventually end up addressing it. At the same time, to be fair, Kai Cenat probably has reasons to keep that door closed for now. And honestly, some viewers are asking what MrBeast would even be bringing into the situation at this point. This whole thing feels like something that probably should have been handled privately from the beginning instead of becoming a public conversation around, "Yo, I want to show up to Streamer University." If you were looking at it from MrBeast's perspective, the move some people would suggest is trying to clear the air with Kai first and saying, "Hey, how can I help?" before anything else even gets discussed. Can I contribute something to Streamer University? Can I assist in any way? That approach would probably make a lot more sense, especially because MrBeast is not actually a streamer himself, and that is really the main point people keep bringing up. Since he does not stream, some viewers are wondering what role he would even have at Streamer University beyond simply being part of the moment and the attention around it. At the very least, if there were a YouTube university, Kai Cenat would make perfect sense there because he started on YouTube. He had already crossed 1 million subscribers before fully shifting into streaming, so the connection feels natural and fits his background. But MrBeast is not known as a streamer, and that is why some people feel this entire situation comes across as a little unusual. Looking at it from that angle, a few viewers have started calling the move questionable, especially because his public image has already been getting discussed in other creator conversations. You have Jinxie, XQC, Aiden Ross, and now even Kai Cenat all being mentioned in these discussions, with some people online saying they do not feel like those creators are really rocking with MrBeast right now. To be clear, that is largely the internet's interpretation and ongoing chatter surrounding the situation. If this whole Streamer University story had you thinking, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, and drop your take in the comments. I want to hear where you stand on all of this, and I will catch you in the next one.